Hey, that was my bad guy.
Happy?
Here on EYDK, we've talked about some of the great cartoons adapted from comics, like Spider-Man and X-Men the Animated Series. These shows were so special not only because they brought beloved Marvel characters faithfully to life, but also because they brought the whole universe of Marvel to life too, in a sense creating an early MCU. But we cannot leave DC out of that conversation, and when it comes to bringing a universe of related characters to life, they did not disappoint. The 90s brought us Batman the Animated Series and the birth of the DC animated universe as we know it, and it doesn't get any more essential than the shows in that universe. I mean, Batman the Animated Series gave birth to Harley Quinn.
I'm sick of people trying to shoot me, run me over, and blow me up!
Now, one of the most popular of all DC's characters. I'm saying, the DCAU brought hit after hit.
It fell out of your pocket. You probably shouldn't carry that while you're in uniform.
Hits that dictated how a new generation viewed perennial icons like Batman and Superman.
I heard you were crazy. I didn't think you were stupid.
Speaking of Batman and Superman. That is my Alright, real quick, best DCAU intro theme. Leave it in the comments.
Understood.
Now, we have to give props to those cartoons for giving us a sense of these characters that was way less cartoony than previous generations' intros to The Dark Knight and The Man of Steel.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
By 2001, the DCAU had built such an expansive animated world that the time had come for a show that brought all the characters together. And boom, the Justice League was born.
If we stayed together as a team, we would be a force that could truly work for the ideals of peace and justice.
What? Like a bunch of super friends?
More like a Justice League.
And as we'll explore, the DCAU's take on the supergroup is just as good, if not better, than the MCU or the DCEU. I mean, come on. This show is definitely better than the Justice League movie. Can we all agree on that, huh?
I dig it.
Justice League is notable for a lot of things. It was a mature show that young fans could nevertheless fully engage with. It went deep on its stories with its double episode format, and most importantly, it did justice, pun very much intended, to some of comics' greatest and most well-known characters while also boosting the profile and visibility of other deeper cut heroes. Here's everything you didn't know about Justice League. Justice League was produced by Warner Bros. Animation, a division of Warner Bros. Which also owns DC. The show aired on Cartoon Network from November 17th, 2001 to May 29th, 2004. There were 2 seasons with 52 episodes total. Aside from the 3-part intro story and one episode story, all other episodes were 2-episode stories. I graduated high school in 2001, but this show definitely still appealed to me. The deep impression Batman and Superman the Animated Series had made on me when I was younger made this show an absolute must watch. And yes, I'm old. The 7 main characters of this iteration of Justice League were Superman.
I will continue to uphold the ideals of truth and justice.
Wonder Woman.
Allow me.
The Flash.
Hey! Over here! Ha!
Green Lantern.
Everybody stay close!
HAWKGIRL.
The whole place is going to blow!
Martian Manhunter.
I am John Jones.
And as sort of a rogue freelancer, Batman.
I'm not really a people person, but when you need help, and you will, call me.
Alright, and that's why Batman will always be my favorite hero.
Right.
This squad mostly stays true to the classic main members of the Justice League. The League traditionally has Batman, Supes, a Flash, a Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. But here, my man Aquaman got benched for HAWKGIRL. This gave the League more woman power and also kept the stories, drier? Aquaman does appear in the show semi-regularly and also was given a sweet hook, harpoon, hand thing. The 2-part episode storytelling style allowed for really mature, interesting stories. One of the things cartoons sometimes struggle with is telling a dramatic story with depth in around 23 minutes. You know, cause you gotta factor in commercials.
It's huge. Baby bottle pops, bring out the baby in you.
And that's one of the reasons why a lot of cartoons have more of a sitcom structure. But the double episode format allowed Justice League to function more like an hour-long drama series than your traditional quick and done with cartoon story. Also, it's interesting that not every member of the League would appear in every story. And some have criticized Justice League for this, but I actually think it's one of the show's strengths. It had this stable of really strong characters and would pick and choose from them to tell that episode story in the best way possible instead of just cramming everyone on screen at once just for the sake of assembling the team but then not having something interesting for everyone to do. In other words, Justice League really knew the difference between good storytelling and fan service. Don't get me wrong, we love seeing our favorite heroes together, but it's a lot more satisfying when their being together feels essential to the narrative.
They're making a good point.
The show also really upped the stakes for the DCAU, taking the threats cosmic. Space travel, time travel, and apocalyptic threats were all in play. And this was a really fun jump from the stories in Batman and Superman the Animated Series, where the adventures and threats were mostly confined to Gotham and Metropolis.
You will never control me, Luthor.
These big threats also brought out big hero and villain cameos from across DC Comics history. And a lot of the stories drew from classic cosmic threat arcs from DC books like Crisis on Infinite Earths and the Great Darkness Saga. While these big stakes may have been familiar to Justice League Comics fans, it's worth noting that this was fresh territory for a cartoon JL. The only previous iteration, Super Friends, wasn't too far from 60s Batman in terms of campiness.
Like, how are we ever going to become a dynamic trio if we never get any practice?
But Justice League could be lighthearted too. I mean, it had a Christmas special. It's the only single episode plot from the whole series, and it's pretty freaking delightful.
Hey kids, Santa Flash is back.
If I had to pick one arc from Justice League that highlights what makes Justice League so special, I'd have to choose Legends. It's a meta story where members of the Justice League get transported to another dimension where the comic book characters from the League's world, the Guild, are actually real.
Justice Guild, roll call. Catman,
Black Siren.
Green Guardsman, Tom Turbine, The Streak.
Because, you know, John remembers his childhood comics. The Guild end up having to confront the fact that they aren't real in the League's dimension. It's pretty heavy stuff.
Your world is an illusion, a living memory of a civilization destroyed 40 years ago, when the Justice Guild gave their lives for this Earth.
The Guild's dimension is based like in the 1950s world. It's a love letter to Golden and Silver Age comics in that the comic characters within the show are based on the Golden Age Justice Society of America, which is the Justice League's precursor. It's also a deep character piece with real emotional stakes that's really a commentary on fandom itself.
No.
Did we go too deep? It felt deep, but it is deep. Also deep. These episodes encapsulate so much of what Justice League could do. Look back lovingly and knowledgeably at comic book history, bring iconic characters to life in a fresh and engaging way, and tell deep stories that didn't condescend to the audience's youth. Again, deep.
It's stupid, really. Why should I feel like this? I mean, they weren't even real.
They gave their lives for us. That's real enough for me.
As we said before, the show switched the traditional Aquaman for HAWKGIRL. This was a really cool move, not only because it brought another woman into the core group of Justice League members, but also because it elevated the profile of a character who before this series was definitely more of a deep-cut DC hero. Full disclosure, I did not know much about HAWKGIRL before I watched Justice League back then.
You think I need this mace to take you down?
But the other major change to the team that Justice League made was the switch with Green Lantern. The Justice League's traditional Green Lantern was Hal Jordan, but he was replaced by John Stewart. This not only made the Justice League more diverse, it also made Green Lantern a very different asset temperament-wise to the team, as Hal is generally somewhat cocky while John Stewart is more serious.
I love you too.
But what's really cool is that for a younger generation, John Stewart became the first association with Green Lantern, and that's something that Justice League can take complete credit for. The popularity of John Stewart in the show even led to DC making John Stewart a more important character in the comics, further cementing his legacy. Straight up, he will forever be my Green Lantern, so representation matters, yo.
I know it sounds corny, but those comics taught me what it meant to be a hero.
The intro for Justice League is... Actually, why don't you take a look and then we'll discuss. Alright, so we've got a completely different animation style going than the rest of the show. And it's sort of in 3D and also sort of not. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, and I feel comfortable saying this because I feel like we're close. Also, the show is great, but this intro is I don't know, the characters just always looked off to me. What do you guys think? But what the intro may lack in visuals, it definitely makes up for in ear candy because the music is dope. That powerful brass makes it feel so epic and super teamy. Credit for the theme song goes to Lolita Ritmanis, who also wrote the Batman Beyond theme and the Teen Titans and credits theme. She also wrote music for the broader show along with her frequent collaborators Michael McQuiston and Christopher Carter, who also wrote music for those same DC shows. Bruce Timm created Justice League to culminate the incredible work that he and his team had been doing in the DCAU. Timm, along with Paul Dini, is the architect of the DCAU. The closest parallel would be to Kevin Feige with the MCU today. Dini contributed to Justice League as well, but he was more of a facilitator here as he was extremely busy running Batman Beyond at the time of Justice League's development. Timm was co-creator of Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, The New Batman Adventures, and Batman Beyond.
His time has come, Bruce. What do you say?
Well, I don't think it's my decision to make.
The Justice League.
By the time Justice League was in development, this was a well-oiled machine of collaborators who were bringing together characters and worlds they've already spent a lot of time building out. As y'all may recall from our Batman Beyond video, towards the end of that series, people got really hyped about the possibility of a Justice League series within the DCAU, as it had featured a vision of the Justice League far in the future. You remember that? That was a dope episode.
Finally making yourself useful.
Batman Beyond was a Kids WB show, but Justice League ultimately moved over to Cartoon Network because Kids WB execs wanted to do a more kid-friendly version of the Justice League, whereas Timm wanted to move the tone of the show in a more mature direction.
Everybody, knock it off!
There were only 2 directors for all 52 episodes of Justice League. Dan Riba, a directing alum of every previous DCAU show, as well as Super Mario Bros. Super Show, directed 29 episodes. Riba had a near even split of the directing workload with Butch LUKIC, who directed 28 episodes. LUKIC did some DCAU directing, including 15 episodes of Batman Beyond, but up until Justice League, he had done more work in the DCAU as a storyboard artist. And he continued to do storyboard artwork for Justice League in addition to directing. Double paycheck. I see you, Butch. That paper. There are over 10 writers on IMDb when you take out character creators like Jack Kirby, Bob Kane, H.P. Lovecraft, etc. Stan Berkowitz wrote the most episodes of the series at 24. Aside from writing for almost every other DCAU series, he also wrote for Spider-Man the Animated Series. That's the dream, Marvel and DC writing. DWAYNE McDuffie, who wrote 14 episodes, had almost his entire writing career within DC properties. Most notably though, he co-created and wrote Static Shock comics, wrote for the Static Shock animated series, and he was also a co-founder of Milestone Media. Now, if you are not familiar with Milestone, I highly suggest reading up on them. They did a lot to elevate representation in comics.
Tell me that's not cool!
And this one is pretty cool. John Ridley, the screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave, wrote 1 episode. Justice League has a beast of a cast both in size and star quality. There are 156 voice actors credited on IMDb. Kevin Conroy played Batman.
There's more to this than meets the eye.
He was Batman in every DCAU series, as well as a ton of subsequent Batman animated projects leading to the present. So he's got as good, if not the best claim to being Batman as an actor. And he definitely is my Batman. Then Michael Keaton. They're like,
now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
George Newbern voiced Superman.
Batman, it's really you.
Now, unlike Conroy, he didn't voice his character in the standalone animated series. Outside Justice League, he's probably best known for his role in Scandal. I'll always remember him from the Father of the Bride movies.
Congratulations. Grandpa.
Don't judge me. Those are solid flicks. And Steve Martin is one of my heroes. So back off.
Get out of here.
Susan Eisenberg voiced Wonder Woman.
They don't have these on Themyscira.
She was also Viper in Jackie Chan Adventures.
Name's Viper.
Maria Canals Barrera voiced HAWKGIRL.
Do you want to stand here pointing fingers, or do you want to do something about it?
Outside Justice League, she's best known for one of my kids' favorite shows, The Wizards of Waverly Place.
Think of it this way, you're just one broken heart closer to happily ever after.
Phil Lamar voiced Green Lantern.
You've got to trust your partners.
We featured him a number of times on EYDK. Most notably, he is the voice of Samurai Jack.
And what are you going to do when Aku finds you and realizes you have no sword?
Aku doesn't know, and he hasn't shown himself in years.
Carl Lumbly voiced Martian Manhunter.
It's a lie. Must fight it.
He was also on Alias. Michael Rosenbaum voiced The Flash.
Sorry, but my identity's a secret. Chicks dig that whole man of mystery thing.
Now he has lots of superhero TV cred as he also played Lex Luthor on Smallville, and he was awesome.
What do you want?
The world, Mrs. Kent. And your son's gonna help me bring it to its knees. Now talk some sense into him before something unfortunate happens.
The smaller worlds are stacked. Mark Hamill voiced the Joker, but he also voiced Solomon Grundy.
Be a dear and get the door.
Okay.
Clancy Brown voiced Lex Luthor.
This is your fault. All of it.
Ron Perlman voiced Clayface.
See, all I want is to be normal again.
And Orion.
You most certainly will not.
Two very different characters. Keith David voiced Despero.
My third eye opened and the flames spoke to me in a voice only I could hear.
Michael Ironside voiced Darkseid.
We meet again, Kella.
What do you want?
Pam Grier voiced Mariah.
Welcome home, my love.
John Rhys Davies voiced Lord Hades.
I'll get to you when I'm finished with your mother.
Brad Garrett voiced Lobo.
Superman bit the big one, and the main man's here to take his place.
Neil Patrick Harris voiced Ray Thompson.
When I grow up, I'm gonna be a crime fighter.
And Rob Zombie voiced Icthutu.
Speak to me, child of Thanagar.
So this was a really awesome show for having iconic actors take one-off turns as really iconic DC characters.
Just an observation.
Justice League had its fair share of polymer swag. Yeah, I know, I'm running out of different ways to say plastic toys. Fusion released 5 flying figure toys for the series. Bats, Supes, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern, but no HAWKGIRL or Martian Manhunter? What's the love, baby?
How much worse can it get?
The box said they fly, which, alright, I'll give them, but like, they're just hanging and going in circles, but whatever. Mattel also released a larger series of toys that blur seamlessly into the toys for Justice League sequel, Justice League Unlimited. Also, we have to mention that you can still buy Justice League toys on the DC Universe store website, which is a huge testament to this show's lasting impact, as that means the toys are still popular enough that they keep making them.
A paltry bit of plastic and crude electronics.
Video game wise, there was 2002's Justice League Injustice for All for the Game Boy Advance, and 2003's Justice League Chronicles also for Game Boy Advance. Comics wise, DC published over 30 issues of Justice League Adventures, set in the continuity of the show. It ran from 2002 to 2004. There were also 8 mini issues published through Burger King. This comic was replaced by the retitled comic Justice League Unlimited, which mirrored the retitling of the show. The JL also made an appearance on DCAU show Static Shock.
What's going on?
We were hit by a cosmic anomaly. It drained the Watchtower's central power core. We need you to recharge it for us.
Another dope series. We've covered it. Check it out. And that episode, very dope too.
I feel like a grilled patty.
The biggest piece of related media, though, to come out of Justice League has to be Justice League Unlimited, the show's direct sequel. But that'll be its own video in the future, so stay tuned, y'all. There was also a recent animated film that's arguably in the same continuity as Justice League. Justice League versus the Fatal Five from 2019.
I heard you were grabby.
Bruce Timm himself says the film is canon, but I guess it's ultimately up to fans to decide how they want to view the film with respect to the Justice League story from almost 2 decades earlier. I say, if Timm says it's canon, then it's canon.
I guess.
Since Justice League, there's obviously been a huge influx of universe of interwoven characters-based storytelling in movies and TV. The MCU, the DCEU, the CW DC shows, Marvel shows, even cinematic universes beyond comic book characters like the Monsterverse. Justice League has a really important but sometimes overlooked place in its history. The DCAU also showed us that really cool, mature stories could be done in animation in a way that appealed to both younger viewers and older ones, and this paved the way for a ton of amazing standalone comic book animation stories since. For example, Justice League Doom, Batman the Killing Joke, Superman Red Sun, oh, the Harley Quinn TV series, huh? Very solid. You can watch that on SYFY, by the way.
Just keep your mouth shut.
Justice League has helped give us so much, and I think it's got a lot more to give. So if you're a movie studio executive at home right now with the entertainment industry on pause and you're thinking about the best way to build, refine, or retool your cinematic universe, go get a copy of Justice League for a perfect blueprint on how to do it right. Tell them Juan sent you.
You're kidding, right?
I mean, they probably won't know who I am, but you can still tell them if you want. Oh, also, come on. Let's get Jon Stewart in a DC movie already. And while I'm making requests, can we get Idris Elba to play Green Lantern too?
Better late than never.
Do you have a favorite JL episode or moment? Leave it in the comments.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. For more EYDK, make sure you click over there. And for new episodes I drop every other week, click, touch, do your thing over here.